can we help the Sixers? Because that organization,
I doubt it.
Yeah, no, they're a disaster. And I don't even just mean wins and losses. Nobody cares. Someone said to me the other day, what did you think of the game last night? What game? They're tanking. They stink. Their best players aren't playing. The rest of the season is just about draft pick status. That doesn't matter. But, Hugh, this does. So I believe this was with Pablo Torre from ESPN. We had Daryl Morey. And correct me if I'm wrong. Was this part of his time at the Sloan Analytics Conference? It may have been. It was like a panel thing, or it looked like he was up on a stage, wherever he was. He was on Pablo Torre's podcast, and Hugh, I was very excited to see your reaction to this, or listen to your reaction, because yesterday it came out that Daryl Morey told everyone that the Sixers use artificial intelligence to help them make decisions here. Let's listen to this.
It turns out LLMs do fairly well at prediction. They still are not beating human, like super forecasters they're called, like in Human Judgment Project talks about it. But they do add signal over just scouts and things like that. So we'll treat them almost like one scout. Now over time, if it's shown that they have a better track record than scouts, we might weight the LLMs or use multiple LLMs as one or two votes out of the process. So it turns out I'm building on a lot of things that Sentil knows, and you know that multi-model approaches can put you more on the decision frontier, the optimal decision frontier. And when I say that carefully, you get very similar accuracy with lower risk by using multi-model approaches. And so that's why we do that.
I would just like NBA Central to aggregate what Daryl just said, which is that he asked ChatGPT for help on trades.
And he thought that was – do you know what the sad part about that is? He thought it was funny. Now, just to give you a little insight, I remember one time when I first got to ESPN, I sat in on they had me talk about how do what's it called, next gen stats help, and I'm gonna tell you right now, they picked the wrong person, because when I sat there in this room full of people, and I didn't realize that they wanted me to talk about how next gen stats help me, and I was like, I don't use those. I used what I see, the eye test, and what my gut tells me. So with that being said, the first question that I would ask Daryl Morey if I got the chance is, what did ChatGPT tell you about Joel Embiid?
Yeah.
And no matter how you answer that question, it's going to be the wrong answer. You know why? Because you just sat there, and the only thing that most people heard is that you ask an AI model about decisions, and it has just as much weight as an individual. That's what you don't get about what you just said. You basically said you put these computations into a computer, and then it gives you back what they think you should do. So my question would be, okay, when you asked the computer about Joel Embiid, what did it tell you? And if he says I didn't ask the computer, you know what my next question would be? Why not? Because then maybe the computer would have told you not to sign somebody who has a knee injury. Or if he says we did, and I would be curious to ask him, so what did the computer say about signing a player with a bad knee? So you see where I'm going with this?
Yep.
There's a no-win situation for you. You sat there. This is like, and I don't know Daryl Morey. I don't know him. But, dog, you sat in a room with a bunch of folks and told them something that I feel like you didn't think was going to make the rounds.
Yeah.
I felt like you shared something in a group of people you thought was a safe space.
And it was not.
And you didn't realize what could potentially happen.
So, look, I don't think we should be in denial about this, right? Hugh, we know teams use technology to help them make this, and that's totally understandable. I bet Howie Roseman and the Eagles have a
an AI model that they use. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like the draft's coming up, right? I'm sure they can plug in. You know, we were joking earlier because I found your combine stats, right?
Yes.
You're benched like 27 times. I'm sure the NFL teams, smart ones, have some sort of model that tells them like, hey, what is star pass rushers? What do they typically do in the combine? Like, do they bench this much? Do they run this fast? And it gives them a sense of like that's what they look like. I totally understand that. But can I offer Daryl Morey a quick piece of advice? Maybe talk about how you use this stuff, I don't know, when your team's winning. Do you realize how ridiculous it sounds to say, yeah, I use AI to help make decisions when your team's 22-43, and you just signed maybe the two worst contracts in the league? Like, you sound stupid.
Yeah,
Even if you're a smart guy, you sound ridiculous. Like the whole fan base listened to that, and they probably had the same reaction as you, Hugh. Dude, you just gave Joel Embiid a contract, and it looks like a disaster. You just gave Paul George a contract that looks like maybe the worst in the league. So maybe stop doing this? I mean, this is the kind of thing you tout when you're doing well. Like, we use technology.
Everybody's like, oh, AI helps out. But in this situation, with your track record and the way that things have looked so far, it's not a good look.
It is not. It is. I know they were kidding at the end with the ChatGPT, but like it felt like is he really like asking the AI what he should do with these contracts with these players? It came across as tone deaf, and it came across as ridiculous considering they're the most disappointing team in the NBA.
Yeah, and it came across as tone deaf, which you've already done. Like, this is why I need to be the PR guy for the Sixers, because I've been like, dog, listen.
This one you actually might have helped. You might have said,
no, because I'm like, dog, what are you doing? You can't say that, because here's the thing. Like, it might be true, and AI might have done a great job for you, but look at what's going on in the city. You the same cat that said if you squint really, really hard, we're gonna make it to the playoffs. Now, the last time I checked, we fighting to keep our pick.
Yeah.
Went like you're not in tune with what's going on here in the city. Does he live here?
Well, I gotta imagine.
Serious question.
I have to imagine he does.
Serious question.
Yeah.
Do you live here?
I have to imagine he does.
Are you trying to dox him?
No, because I'm trying to. Do you go to the grocery store? I mean, I'm curious now. What is your life like? Because you can't go anywhere without seeing a fan of some sports team in the town. I remember one of the greatest feelings I had when I didn't have a home and I was living in the city.
Homeless here, yeah, that's a big.
The one time
big part
I had to walk to work, just walking through the city and seeing Phillies representation, seeing Eagles representation, seeing the Flyers hats. People love their sports teams, and they know who the GMs are. They know who these people are. And the reason why I ask that is this. Nobody's ever come up to you in the grocery store and asked, what the hell are you doing with the Sixers? Respectfully. Or be like, yo, dog, why'd you give Joel Embiid all that money? Like, nobody's ever done that to you. You live in a world where you don't grasp how these fans feel about this team, and you go out there and you say that kind of stupid stuff on a daily basis. Like, you have no clue about how they feel about these teams.
It doesn't connect with fans.
You see what I'm saying?
It makes you feel like you think you're smarter than everyone, and then you stink. I mean, you literally have one of the worst teams in the league. Look, again, I know the Eagles use analytics. We all do. How he uses, I don't know if he uses AI, but they use models. It's fine. Like, no one is upset because you know what Howie doesn't do when he talks? Talk about it. I always said this when Gabe Kapler was here. He talked too much. I didn't think he was a dumb guy, but I thought he was a smart guy. But the more he talked, the more people didn't like him because he was talking over people. Yeah. Like, Daryl Morey talks over everyone, and he's never won a thing, and he's got the worst contracts in the league.
I thought he was meeting up with Iverson at TGI Fridays.
Different AI.
Making these, that one.
Who would you trust more right now to build the Sixers? Allen Iverson or artificial intelligence?
Allen Iverson.
Yeah, I'll go with Iverson.
If AI wanted to sit in on the meeting, I'd probably be like, meeting? We talking about a meeting, but still, I'll trust AI.
Never tell you the last time I saw Allen Iverson in person?
Where is that?
I was like November 2022. I was doing a BetQL show, and I had a morning show on the Sports Betting Network. And we were staying in like the hotel casino down in National Harbor.
He was at the casino?
Well, no, I saw him at the casino at 5 p.m., and he was at a table. And then I saw him the next morning, Hugh, at 7 a.m. at the same table.
Oh, he's committed. He was committed.
He was full all the way in on that.
He pushed all them chips in.
All right, so we had that yesterday with Daryl Morey, AI. We also had a report that the Sixers will look to trade Paul George this summer. You think AI is pushing them towards that? Or that their eyes?
All those are valid questions because it makes you wonder. You gave this man all this money.
$212
and you sat there in this press conference and told us, he was going to help you get a championship and all this other stuff. Yeah, that's a valid question, I would think. That's a very valid question.
I feel like if you brought that up to AI, they'd be like, yeah, how?
For what?
For who, for what?
For who, for what is traded for this guy. Last thing on the Sixers, as they clearly are trying to tank now at this point. It sounds like Paul George is going to be shut down with some, was it a knee and a groin?
Mm-hmm. And
that's what happens when you try to get in shape during the season.
Well, he did commit finally in February.
That's right.
To the team. Yeah. And shut down the podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, shut down Podcast P and all that. It's bad look, man.
But Well, now, but the Sixers are being investigated because of this now.
Yeah, Sixers Adam put this up yesterday, but, quote, multiple sources told ESPN the NBA has looked into the Sixers' recent absences, particularly over the past week with George and Tyrese Maxey sitting out games. So, yeah.
Not the bad boys.
We're back. So the GM uses AI. The star player thinks and is going to probably have surgery, and the NBA is investigating. So we're good.
So beyond all that, though, can Adam Silver let us tank in peace? Come on.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Sixers were tanking by accident for 3 months. So
right, but
you leave them alone.
Did he see what the Raptors put out there the other day? Teams do this all the time. As soon as we shut down Paul George, it's like, sound the alarms. Look at the Sixers.
I think they thought flattening the lottery odds would stop tanking. It's actually, I think, caused more teams to tank because teams want to keep their picks with these pick swaps, and teams want to just enter the lottery now. Yeah, I mean, it's a mess.
Well, you know what's next? They're going to rig these ping pong balls. We're losing it. We're losing this first round pick.
We're not getting Cooper Flag?
There's no doubt in my mind we're going to get 7, and it's going to go to the freaking Thunder.
I thought we were failing for Flag. We're not doing that?
We're going to rig them. We're going to rig the balls.
Yeah.
Rig the balls.
All right. That's,
slow down.
Yeah, let's cut that out. All right, 215-592-9494. Back to the phone lines. You can react to AI, not Allen Iverson, but artificial intelligence with the Sixers.